Hi, this is Congressman Joe Courtney, and I'm here with a special guest from Connecticut.
Hello, my name is Lee Burdett Williams, and I'm from Mystic.
This evening, Lee is my guest to the State of the Union, which is the annual event before joint session of Congress, the Supreme Court, military leadership. And we know we're going to hear a lot from President Trump claiming that the problems of affordability have all been solved. The fact of the matter is between tariffs and price increases for housing, new cars, groceries, that clearly is not the case. But healthcare is still probably the area where there is the most difficulty that people are experiencing. And Lee has come down here to tell her story, where her health insurance premiums went up dramatically because of the failure to extend the premium subsidies for people on the Affordable Care Act exchange.
So my spouse and I both work for nonprofit organizations, neither of which provide us with health insurance. And so we made the decision to purchase a health insurance plan on the exchange. And we have been paying, well, throughout 2025, we paid about $750 every month for a bronze high deductible plan, about a $15,000 deductible. But we are both kind of risk averse when it comes to health insurance and felt that that was necessary and important. As the discourse around the premium subsidies continued throughout the year, we became really alarmed that if these premiums were to not be extended into 2026, we would be facing a significant increase. We did our research, we looked at the plan that we had, and it was clear that starting January 1st, if we kept the same plan, we were going to have to pay $3,030 a month for that high deductible plan. We were fortunate in that my wife's employer allowed her access to their plan. She doesn't work 40 hours, so she wasn't typically eligible for that plan, but they made an exception in her case because they understood what we were facing. So we were able to buy into her employer's plan at $2,500 a month, so we saved about $500. And importantly, it's a better plan. It's a gold plan with lower deductible. As we were facing this pretty significant hit on our monthly household income, I wrote to Congressman Courtney and to Senators Blumenthal and Murphy and just expressed my frustration and disappointment that things were going to unfold this way. And in the fall, in October, Congressman Courtney contacted me and we had a more detailed conversation about all of this. And I'm very honored to be here and hope that telling my story and our story is something that can be helpful in pushing this legislation over the goal line.
When you did the math with your spouse's employer, I mean, the monthly premium is still $2,500.
Right, and we pay 100%.
100%. So again, Lee and her spouse went from $700 a month in 2025 to $2,500 a month in 2026. Again, it could have been even worse if they had been forced to stay on the same plan through the exchange, but nonetheless, going from 700 to 2,500 is, you can do the math. I mean, it's about 300 or 400% increase in out-of-pocket premium payments. So again, when we hear tonight from the president about the fact that there's no affordability problem anymore in America because of the great work that he's done over the last year, I mean, that obviously is completely disconnected from the reality of millions of Americans who, again, took the hit because the premium subsidies were not extended. I have other constituents who have contacted the office who decided not to sign up for insurance at all in 2026 because, again, they just couldn't afford to pay those monthly premiums. Again, the House passed a bill to extend the subsidies with bipartisan support. It's sitting in the Senate. If President Trump really cared about affordability, he would talk to his leadership, his Republican leadership in the Senate, and say, get this bill done to my desk, and let's, again, stop forcing people into impossible decisions about whether or not to pay money that they don't have or can barely scrape together, or just forego insurance.
And I want to be clear that we're very fortunate, my wife and I, that we have the resources to make this payment. we have savings. Not everybody is going to be in that position, and we really feel for them, and we worry about our neighbors and our friends who are going to have to make a choice between health insurance and a college tuition payment, or health insurance and a car payment, or health insurance and food on the table for their children. I think what we find so disheartening is just knowing that the long-term implications of these costs are profound for families who give up insurance, give up routine maintenance of their health, routine procedures, things that head off problems down the road. And because they're not going to have some of those routine procedures, like a mammogram, like colonoscopy, like going to the dermatologist and having a worrisome mole looked at, a year from now or 2 years from now, they may be facing a major health crisis that will cost them not just a few $1,000s that the procedure would have cost them out of pocket, but tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And people will get sick and die as a result of not having health insurance.
Thank you, Lee, for coming down here and again, in person, bearing witness to the fact that despite what we may hear tonight, the reality for far too many people is that this administration's policies and choices have really made the cost of health insurance far worse rather than better over the last 12 months.